All right, so for this video, we're going to be looking at solving multi-step equations, setting them up and solving multi-step equations. So it's very simple. We're only going to go through 6 examples. We're still going to be defining a variable by looking in our question. We're going to write a variable expression or variable expressions containing our variable. So sometimes you may write one expression or you may actually write 2. And then the third thing is you're going to set the equation up. You're going to look for some part of your word problem that tells you what to do with your variables or those variable expressions. And in that case, you're going to combine like terms. So in this particular set of word problems, we'll be combining like terms, guys, which means we're going to have variable expressions in most cases, and then we'll solve. All right, so let's look at 1. It says Pam and Wendy took a group of their friends to the movies. Pam bought 3 tickets and a tub of popcorn for $7. Wendy bought 5 tickets. It says how much was the cost of each ticket if both ladies spent a sum of $99. So together, Pam and Wendy spent $99. All right, so I'm going to go to my question first because it says define the variable by looking at your question. How much was the cost of each ticket? So I'm going to do T for cost of a ticket. All right, but I want you to know that Pam and Wendy bought tickets. So I'm going to have to set up 2 variable expressions. I know that the sum that they spent was $99. Okay, so I'm going to just go back and look at this. I know that whatever Pam spent plus whatever Wendy spent should sum up to or add up to $99. I just need to figure out what Pam spent and what Wendy spent. To figure out what Pam spent, I'm going to need a variable expression for Pam because she bought tickets too. So let's get a variable expression for Pam. So go back up here and figure out where it talks about Pam's. Okay, Pam bought 3 tickets. All right, so she bought 3 of those, but keep in mind that she spent T dollars because T represents the cost of a ticket. She spent T dollars 3 times, so her 3 and T are going together. So let's figure out how much money Pam spent. She spent T dollars 3 times, plus she got a tub of popcorn for $7. Okay, that's the expression for Pam. Now, Wendy also bought something, but now you can include the variable with Wendy as well. So I'm going to change the color here. Well, Wendy bought 5 tickets, guys. She bought 5 tickets. So she didn't spend T dollars 3 times. She spent T dollars 5 times. So for Wendy's expression, and let me change the color here. For Wendy's expression, she spent 5T. So if you take a look, Pam spent 3T plus $7. And then Wendy spent $5T. But together they spent $99. So basically what you're doing is writing your expression, writing a variable expression for both things that you have. Thing 1 is what Pam spent, and also thing 2, which is what Wendy spent. So you're writing a variable expression for thing 1 and thing 2. So you may want to write that. Whatever that thing is, thing 1 and thing 2. So in other words, thing 1 in this case was what Pam spent. And thing 2 in this case was also what Wendy spent. So Pam spent 3T plus $7, and Wendy spent 5T, but together they spent 99. So all I'm going to do now is combine like terms. So 3T plus 5T is 8T plus 7 equals 99. Now all I have to do is solve the two-step. So I'm going to have to go up here because I'm running out of room. So I end up with 8T equals to 92. I'm going to divide both sides by 8. And when I solve, it's going to give me the cost of a ticket. So I'm going to take 92 and divide it by 8. And the cost of a ticket, it's going to read like this if you punch it in the calculator. Just like that, but add a 0 so it looks like money. So the cost of a ticket was $11.50. Okay, let's take a look at 2. Rose and Tabitha both left Rockford at the same time from the same location. All right, however, it should say they. They leave Rockford going in opposite directions. Rose is traveling 65 miles per hour due south. Tabitha is traveling 50 miles per hour due north. After some time, they are 402 and 5/10 miles apart. So the question becomes, how many hours have they both been traveling? So I'm going to draw the diagram. So I'm going to say here they started Rockford. And someone went south. Okay, so Rose went south, traveling at 60 miles per hour. 65. So this is Rose. Okay, 65 miles per hour. So for every hour, Rose went 65 miles. The question is, how many hours? I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and write, before I finish this up, I'm going to go ahead and write H is going to represent the number of hours, guys. All right, let me draw a diagram for Tabitha. Tabitha went north, okay? And hers should actually be a little shorter. All right, so this is Tabitha. She went north at 50 miles per hour. So for every hour, she went 50 miles. Okay, so Rose, for every hour, went 65 miles. So I know 65 and H are going together. So Rose travels 65 miles every hour. Tabitha, on the other hand, travels 50 miles every hour. So 50 and H are going together. So if she traveled 1 hour, it was 50 miles. 2 hours, 100. 3 hours, 150. Okay. All right, so if Rose traveled 1 hour, 65 miles. If she traveled 2 hours, it was 65 times 2, which is 130. So you should get the gist of it. You multiply the speed by the number of hours, it'll give you the distance that each person has traveled. But I do know that this distance right in here, which is represented by 58, and this distance right in here, which is represented by 65H, at some point was 402.5 miles apart. So these two young ladies were 402.5 miles apart. So I know the sum of those distances had to equal that. So what I'm going to do is I know that Tabitha's distance from Rockford plus Rose's distance from Rockford at some point equals 402.5 miles. I do know that. So we're just going to set up an equation. Okay, Tabitha's distance from Rockford is represented by 50h. Plus Rose's distance from Rockford is represented by 65h. And at some point it's 2.5 miles apart. So let me write this a little better because I don't have enough room. (50h) plus 65h equals 402.5. Okay, so now I'm going to combine like terms. It's going to give me 115h equals 402.5. And to solve for h, all I do is divide both sides by 115. All right, so we have 402.5 divided by 115. So it gives me 3.5 or 3.5. So I know after 3.5 hours, those two young ladies are 402 and 5/10 miles apart, or 402.5 miles apart. So I hope that makes sense. So your thing one was basically Tabitha's distance, and thing two, Rose's distance. Okay. All right, let's take a look at 3. Coach Bell and his wife both have side jobs. So they do something. They're teachers, but they do something after they get off from, the job at the school. They work at different places but receive the same rate of pay per hour. Coach Bell worked 20 hours last week, while his wife worked 16 hours and received a $100 bonus. The sum of their paychecks was $478 before taxes was applied. How much does Coach Bell and his wife make per hour? Keep in mind they make the same rate per hour. All right, so I want to do, let's see, R for rate of pay per hour. So I do know that the sum of their checks was $478 before taxes was applied. So let's take a look. I know that Coach Bell's check plus his wife's check ended up being a sum of $478. So I just need an expression to represent Coach Bell's pay and an expression to represent his wife's pay. All right, so for Coach Bell, let's take a look at it, guys. Coach Bell worked 20 hours last week. That's it. All right, but that means for each one of those hours, I need this to go away. For each one of those hours, he gets R dollars. That's the rate of pay, okay? So that's going to be 20R. So if he worked 20 hours and he made, let's say, $5, we'd have made $100. But if he made $5 an hour, I would say Coach Bill is getting ripped off. All right, so but suppose he made $10, he would make $200 for those 20 hours. But we don't know, so we're just going to say he works R hours. Not R hours, but gets paid R dollars for each hour, okay? Again, this is a rate. That's how much is he making per hour. So 20R. So multiply his amount of hours times his rate of pay. That'll give us how much he made. Now, as far as his wife is concerned, she works 16 hours. My goodness, I'm on comment. That's why it won't work. She works 16 hours and she received a $100 bonus. So let's see. 16 hours. So she's going to get that rate of pay 16 times. Okay. Plus she received a $100 bonus. So her check was comprised of her rate of pay times 16 hours plus the $100 bonus. But if you sum those two, it should equal to 478. That's how much they made together. So now I'm going to combine like terms. 20R plus 16R is 36R plus 100. And you can combine those two because they're on the same side. And then all I have to do is subtract 100 from both sides. So you end up with 36R equals to 378. You're going to divide both sides by 36. And let's see what each person makes per hour. 378 divided by 36. So Coach Bill and his wife both, it says 10.5 in the calculator, but to make it look like money after zero. So Coach Bill and his wife both make $10.50 per hour. Just keep in mind that Coach Bill's check was represented by 20R, and his wife's check was represented by 16R plus 100. But you have to sum it or add them because the sum of their checks was 478. That's why we set it equal to 478. Okay, let's take a look at 4. Marlene and Josiah decided to take a shopping trip. Marlene purchased 3 pair of jeans and 4 shirts for $25, or $25 each. So the 4 shirts were $25 each, guys, just for clarification. Josiah purchased 5 pair of jeans and 2 pair of boots. 1 pair of boots cost her $50 and the other pair was $80. If the girls spent $469.60 altogether, how much was each pair of jeans? And we're going to assume that the jeans cost the same amount. So I'm going to go to my question. How much was each pair of jeans? So I'm going to say C for cost of a pair of jeans. Okay, so I know that together they spent $469. So I need what Marlene spent plus what Josiah spent has to equal $469.60. So I need a variable expression for Marlene. It's got to have C in it though, okay? So go to Marlene, and she's up here. Let's find out what she spent. She bought 3 pair of jeans, which cost C dollars, and 4 shirts for $25 each. So I know she spent C dollars 3 times, so I know that's 3C. Plus she bought 4 shirts for $25 each. That means she spent an additional $100 on shirts. Now let's go to what Josiah spent. Okay, so Josiah purchased 5 pair of jeans and 2 pair of boots. 1 pair cost her $50 and the other pair cost her $80. So let's take a look as far as where is the C going. C represents the cost of the jeans. So she bought 5 pair of jeans. So I know that's going to be plus what she spent. So 5 pair of jeans, she spent C dollars 5 times just on the jeans. My goodness. And then she bought 2 pair of boots. Well, 1 pair cost her $50. The other pair cost her $80. And some of you might want to put 5C plus 130. That's fine with me. All right, that's everything Josiah spent. But together, their total was $469.60. So now what I'm going to do is combine like terms. 3C plus 5C is 8C. And then 100 plus 50 is 150. 150 plus 80 is 230. And I just solved the two-step equation. Sorry about that. Get my eraser. And we're going to subtract 230 from both sides. Line the decimals up and subtract. Bring down 8C. Subtract here. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 8, and it's going to give me the cost of each pair of jeans. So C equals, let's divide this, 239 and 60.60 divided by 8. Each pair of jeans was $29.95. That's not too bad for a pair of jeans. Okay, let's take a look at 5. Or you could pause the video and try 5 if you wanted to. And then unpause it to see if you got it right. Oh my goodness, it's 10:20. Okay, so 5, it says, while at Six Flags, Levi and Chaz decided to try their luck at the basketball booth. The rules were simple. If you make a shot, you may choose a prize. Each shot costs the same amount of money. To begin with, Levi had $45, and he took 10 shots. Chaz had $75, and he took 7 shots. When they left, they both left with prizes, but only had a sum of $76. How much did each shot cost? So, I'm going to go to my question and define my variable first. I'm going to do C for cost of a shot. So every time you want to shoot the ball, you got to pay. So let's see how much it costs. All right, so I do know that I have Levi spent money on at the basketball booth. Levi's total purchase at basketball booth. Well, let's go with money spent. Plus Chaz's money spent. And I probably don't want to do money spent. Let's do Levi's money left over. That's going to be better. Because if you look, guys, this is what they had left. So let's say Levi's money left over. So you erase what you have. Levi's money left over plus whatever Chaz's money left over. And that makes more sense. Equals to a sum of $76 because they started with 45, but they took some shots, so they had leftover money because they don't. I know they spent so much money, but we don't know what they spent. All I know is they started with 45. They spent some money so that if they started with 45 and spent some money, then they had some money left over. And that makes better sense to me. Okay, now let's take a look. And I'm probably should let that be an S, but it's okay. All right, cost of a shot. So let's talk about Levi's money left over. Well, how much would he have left over if he started with 45? He started with 45 minus, then he spent some money. Well, how much did he spend? Well, he spent C dollars 10 times. So I'm going to put 10C. So it's 45 minus 10C. Okay, I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, pause the video and let me know. Because he took these shots, he had to pay for it. So it came out of that $45. So he took 10 shots and he paid C dollars every time he paid. Took that a shot. So 45, take away 10C. Okay. Plus Chaz's leftover money. Let's see. His leftover money, well, he started off with $75. He starts off with 75. He takes 7 shots, so that's going to be 7C because he had to pay C dollars 7 times. So his leftover money is represented by 75 minus 7C. But the sum of their leftover money is equal to 76. Okay? So this part in black, I'm going to highlight it, guys. This part represents Levi's $45 he had minus the 10C. Okay, the cost of each shot. So minus 10C because he spent C dollars 10 times. And then this part represents Chaz's leftover money. $75 minus the 7 shots he took. The cost of the 7 shots he took. But I know in the end, they walked out with prizes, but they only had $75 left. Excuse me, 76. Okay, so since 45 and 75 are on the same side, I'm going to go ahead and combine those. 45 plus 75 is 120. So I have 120, and I'm going to go ahead and combine negative 10C and negative 7C, which is negative 17C. And now I have a basic two-step equation. I'm going to subtract 120 from both sides. 120 minus 76, put the bigger number on top. 44. All right, so we have negative 17C equals to negative 44. And something is definitely wrong. Maybe this was a bad problem. Okay. Hold on, guys. 44 divided by 17. Okay. Oh, we're doing the cost of the shot. Never mind. It's not a bad problem. I'm not talking about the number of shots. I'm just talking about the cost. Now, I probably could have made this problem a little better because I don't think anybody would be spending change at the booth. I don't think they take change. They just want all dollar bills. So if I divide by negative 17, I'm going to round this off to make it look like money. That's going to be like $2.59. I could have made the problem better where at least it worked out to a whole number, because I think maybe the cost of each shot at a real Six Flags basketball booth would be like $2, $3, maybe $4. Okay, but we're just going to say the cost of each shot was $2.59. Because mathematically, that's what it worked out to in this problem. All right, let's take a look at 6. Container A and container B both have leaks. Container A has 800 milliliters of water and is leaking at 6 milliliters per minute. So although it has 800 milliliters of water, sorry guys, although it has 800 milliliters of water, 6 milliliters are coming out every minute. Container B has 1,000 milliliters and is leaking 10 milliliters every minute. So it asks, after how many minutes will it take the two containers to have, a combined total of 1,200 milliliters of water. So I want to know, when will container A's amount plus container B's amount equal 1,200 milliliters. So first of all, I'm going to go to my question. It says, after how many minutes will it take? Okay, so I'm going to do M for number of minutes. And we'll focus on each container so I can write two variable expressions. So let's focus on container A. Container A. Container A has 800 milliliters and is leaking 6 milliliters per minute. So just like the basketball booth problem with Chaz and Levi, money wasn't going into the hands, it was coming out. So therefore we use subtraction. And this water problem with the two containers, water isn't going into the containers, water is coming out. So I know I'm going to have to subtract. So container A starts off with 800 milliliters, but it's leaking. So I'm going to subtract. It's leaking at a rate of 6 milliliters per minute. So 6 and M will go together. So that's going to be 6M. So we're going to put minus 6M. 800 milliliters minus 6 milliliters per minute, or 6M. So for every M, 6 milliliters are coming out. For every minute, 6 milliliters are coming out. Okay, now let's go on and look at container B. Container B has 1,000 milliliters, but it's leaking at 10 milliliters per minute. So that's pretty simple to set up. I'm going to bring my plus sign down. Let's do that. And then write for container B. For container B, I am going to start off with 1,000. And it's leaking at 10 milliliters per minute. So that's 10 and M going together. For every minute, 10 milliliters come out, so they go together. And then I need to know when this amount plus this amount will equal to 1,200 milliliters. Because in the beginning, one has 800 and the other one has 1,000. That's 1,800 milliliters. But if they're leaking, I need to know when it's going to equal 1,200 milliliters, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and combine like terms. 800 plus 1,000 is 1,800. That's what they start off with. 1,800 milliliters together. But then I'm going to combine like terms. Negative 6M and negative 10M make negative 16M. Then I'm just going to solve the two-step. You're going to be left with negative 16M equals to negative 600. We're going to divide both sides by negative 16. So when I take 600 and divide it by 16, I end up with 37.5. Excuse me, 37.5. And this is going to be in terms of minutes, guys. Look at that. That's not me. So I don't like writing in Cami. So it's going to take that amount of minutes to have the sum of the water in both containers to level off at 1,200 milliliters, guys. 37.5 minutes. All right, that's it for this set of notes. Thank you.